Well, welcome back to the stories of Mowgli. We stopped somewhere and I'm continuing from the same spot, I suppose. It goes like this. He did not know his own strength in the least. In the jungle, he knew he was weak compared with the beasts. But in the village, people said he was as strong as a bull. And Mowgli had not the faintest idea of the difference that caste makes between man and man. When the potter's donkey slipped in the clay pit, Mowgli hauled it out by the tail and helped to stack the pots for their journey to the market at Kahuwara. That was very shocking, too, for the potter is a low caste man, and his donkey is worse. When the priest scolded him, Mowgli threatened to put him on the donkey too. And the priest told Misua's husband that Mowgli had better be set to work as soon as possible. And the village headman told Mowgli that he would have to go out with the buffaloes next day and herd them while they grazed. No one was more pleased than Mowgli, and that night, because he had been appointed, as it were, a servant of the village, he went off to a circle that met every evening on a masonry platform under a great fig tree. It was the village club, and the headman, and the watchman, and the barber, and the old Baldev, the village hunter who owned a tower musket, met and smoked. The monkeys sat and talked in the upper branches, and there was a hole under the platform where the cobra lived, and he had his little platter of milk every night because he was sacred. And the old men sat round the tree and talked and pulled at the big hookahs till far into the night. They told wonderful tales of gods and men and ghosts, and Baldev told even more wonderful ones of the ways of the beasts of the jungle, till the eyes of the children sitting outside the circle bulged out of their heads. Most of the tales were about animals, for the jungle was always at their door. The deer and the wild pig grubbed up the crops, and now and again the tiger carried off a man at twilight within sight of the village gates. Mowgli, who naturally knew something about what they were talking of, had to cover his face not to show that he was laughing, while Baldev, the tower musket across his knees, climbed on from one wonderful story to another, and Mowgli's shoulders shook. Baldev was explaining how the tiger that had carried away Mesua's son was a ghost tiger, and his body was inhabited by the ghost of a wicked old moneylender who had died some years ago. And I know that this is true, he said, because Purundas always limped from the blow that he got in a riot when his account books were burnt. And the tiger that I speak of, he limps too, for the tracks of his pads are unequal. True, true, that must be the truth, said the greybeards, nodding all together. Are all these tales such cobwebs and moon talk? Said Mowgli. That the tiger limps because he was born lame, as everyone knows. To talk of the soul of a moneylender in a beast that never had the courage of a jackal is child's talk. Baldev was speechless with surprise for a moment, and the headman stared. "Ooh, is a jungle brat, is it?" said Baldev. If you are so wise, better bring his side to Kalinba, for the government has set 100 rupees on his life. Better still, do not talk when the elders speak. Mowgli rose to go. All the evening I have lain here listening, he called back over his shoulder, and except once or twice, but there was not said one word of truth concerning the jungle, which is at his very doors. How then shall I believe the tales of ghosts and the gods and the goblins, which he says he has seen? It is full time that the boy went to herding, said the headman, while Baldev puffed and snorted at Mowgli's impertinence. The custom of most Indian villages is for the few boys to take the cattle and buffaloes out to graze in the early morning and bring them back at night. And the very cattle that would trample a white man to death allow themselves to be banged and bullied and shouted at by children that hardly came up to their noses. So long as the boys keep with the herds, they are safe, for not even the tiger will charge a mob of cattle. But if they struggle to pick flowers or hunt lizards, they are sometimes carried off. Mowgli went through the village streets in the dawn, sitting on the back of Rama, the great herd bull, and the salty blue buffaloes, with their long, backward sweeping horns, and savage eyes rose out of their oh, of their buyers, one by one, and followed him. And Mowgli made it very clear to the children with him that he was their master. He beat the buffaloes with a long polished bamboo and told Kamya, one of the boys, to graze the cattle by themselves while he went on with the buffaloes, and to be very careful not to stray away from the herd. An Indian grazing ground is still all rocks and scrub and tussocks and little ravines, among which the herds scatter and disappear. The buffaloes generally keep to the pools and muddy places where they lie wallowing and basking in this warm mud for hours. Mowgli drove them onto the edge of the plain where the Wainganga river came out of the jungle. Then he dropped from Rama's neck, trotted off to a bamboo clump, and found Grey Brother. Ah, Grey Brother, I have waited here for many days. What is the meaning of this cattle herding work? It's an order, said Mowgli. I'm a village herd for a while. What news of Sher Khan? Oh, he has come back to his country and has waited here a long time for you. Now he has gone off again, for the game is scarce, but he means to kill you. Very good, said Mowgli. So long as he is away, do you or one of the four brothers sit on that rock so that I can see you as I come out of the village. When he comes back, wait for me in the ravine by the dhak tree in the center of the plain. We need not walk into Sher Khan's mouth. Then Mowgli picked out a shady place and lay down and slept, while the buffaloes grazed around him. Herding in India is one of the laziest things in the world. The cattle moo and crunch and lie down and move on again, and they do not even low. They only grunt, and the buffaloes very seldom say anything, but get down into the muddy pools one after another and work their way into the mud till only their noses and staring china blue eyes show above the surface. And there they lie like logs. The sun makes the rocks to dance in the heat, and the herd children hear one kite, never any more, whisper almost out of sight overhead, and they know that if they died, or a cow died, that the kite would sweep down, and the next kite miles away would see him drop down and would follow, and the next, and the next, and almost before they were dead, there would be a score of hungry kites come out of nowhere. Then they sleep and wake up and sleep again, and weave little baskets of dead grass and put grasshoppers in them, or catch two praying mantles and make them fight, or string a necklace of red and black jungle nuts, or watch a lizard basking on a rock, or a snake hunting a frog near the wallows. Then they sing along long songs with odd native quavers at the end of them, and the day seems longer than most people's whole lives. And perhaps they make a mud castle with mud figures of men and horses and buffaloes, and put reeds into the men's hands and pretend that they are kings, and the figures are their armies, or that they are gods to be worshipped. Then evening comes, and the children call, and the buffaloes lumber up out of the sticky mud, with noises like gunshots going off one after the other, and they all string along the grey plain back to the twinkling village lights. So they go back to the village. Day after day, Mowgli would lead the buffaloes out to their wallows, and day after day he would see Grey Brothers back a mile and a half away across the plains. So he knew that Sher Khan had not come back. And day after day he would lie on the grass, listening to the noises around him and dreaming of old days in the jungle. If Sher Khan had made a false step with his lame paw up in the jungles by the Wainganga, Mowgli would have heard him in those long, still mornings. At last a day came when he did not see Grey Brother at the signal place, and he laughed and headed the buffaloes for the ravine by the dhak tree, which was all covered with golden red flowers. There sat Grey Brother, every bristle on his back lifted. He has hidden for a month to throw you off your guard. He crossed the ranges last night with a tabaki, hotfoot on your trail, said the wolf, panting. Mowgli frowned. I'm not afraid of Sher Khan, but Tabaki is very cunning. Have no fear, said Grey Brother, licking his lips a little. I met Tabaki in the dawn. Now he is telling all his wisdom to the kites. But he told me everything before I broke his back. Sher Khan's plan is to wait for you at the village gate this evening, for you and no one else. He is lying up now in the big dry ravine for the Wainganga, dry ravine of the Wainganga. Has he eaten today, or does he hunt empty? Asked Mowgli, for the answer meant life or death for him. He killed at dawn a pig, and he has drunk too. Remember, Sher Khan could never fast, even for the sake of revenge. Oh, fool, fool! What a cub's cub it is! Eaten and drunk too, and he thinks that I shall wait till he has slept. Now, where does he lie? If there were but 10 of us, we might pull him down as he lies. These buffaloes will not charge unless they wind him, and I cannot speak their language. Can we get behind this track so that they may smell it? He swam far down the Wainganga to cut off the smell, said Grey Brother. Tabakis told him that, I know, he would never have thought of it alone. Mowgli stood with his finger in his mouth, thinking, the big ravine of the Wainganga? That opens out on the plain not half a mile from here. I can take the herd round through the jungle to the head of the ravine and then sweep down, but he would slink out at the foot. We must block the end. Grey Brother, cast out your herd in front for me. Not I, perhaps, but I have brought a wise helper. Grey Brother trotted off and dropped into a hole. Then there lifted up a huge grey head that Mowgli knew well, and the hot air was filled with the most desolate cry of all the jungle, the hunting howl of a wolf at midday. Akela, Akela, said Mowgli, clapping his hands. I might have known that you would not forget me. We have a big work in hand. Cut the herd in two, Akela. Keep the cows and calves together, and the bulls and the plough buffaloes by themselves. The two wolves ran ladies' chain fashion in and out of the herd, which snorted and threw up its head and separated into two clumps. In one, the cow buffaloes stood with their calves in the center and glared and pawed, ready, if a wolf would only lay still, to charge down and trample the life out of them. In the other, the bulls and the young bulls snorted and stamped, but though they looked more imposing, they were much less dangerous, for they had no calves to protect. No 6 men could have divided the herd so easily, so neatly. What orders? Panted Akela. They are trying to join again. Mowgli slipped onto Rama's back. Drive the bulls away to the left, Akela. Grey Brother, drive the bulls away to the left, Akela, Grey Brother. When we are gone, hold the cows together and drive them into the foot of the ravine. How far? Said Grey Brother, panting and snapping. Till the sides are higher than Shere Khan can jump, shouted Mowgli. Keep them there till we come down. The bulls swept off as Akela bayed, and Grey Brother stopped in front of the cows. They charged down on him, and he ran just before them to the front of the ravine as Akela drove the bulls far to the left. Well done, well done. Another charge and they are fairly started. Careful now, careful, Akela. A snap too much and the bulls will charge. Yeah, this is wilder work than driving black buck. Did you think these creatures could move so swiftly? Mowgli called. I have hunted these too in my time, gasped Akela in the dust. Shall I turn them into the jungle? Hey, yes, turn. Swiftly turn them in. Rama is mad with rage. Oh, if I could only tell him what I need of him today. The bulls were turned to the right this time and crashed into the standing thicket. The other herd children, watching with the cattle half a mile away, hurried to the village as fast as their legs would carry them, crying that the buffaloes had gone mad and run away. But Mowgli's plan was simple enough. All he wanted to do was to make a big circle uphill and get at the head of the ravine, and then take the bulls down it and catch Sher Khan between the hill bulls and the cows. For he knew that after a meal and a full drink, Sher Khan would not be in any condition to fight or to clamber up the sides of the ravine. He was soothing the buffaloes now by voice, and Akela dropped far to the rear, only whimpering once or twice to hurry the rear guard. It was a long, long circle, for they did not wish to get too near the ravine and give Sher Khan a warning. At last, Mowgli rounded up the bewildered herd at the head of the ravine onto a grassy patch that sloped steeply down to the ravine itself. From that height, you could see across the tops of the trees down to the plain below. But what Mowgli looked at was the sides of the ravine, and he saw with great deal of satisfaction that they ran nearly straight up and down, while the vines and creepers that hung over them would give no foothold to a tiger who wanted to get out. Let them breathe, Akela, he said, holding up his hand. They have not winded him yet. Let them breathe. I must tell Sher Khan who comes. We have him in the trap. He put his hands to his mouth and shouted down the ravine. It was almost like shouting down a tunnel, and the echoes jumped from the rock to rock. After a long time, there came back the drawling, sleepy snarl of a full-fed tiger just wakened. Who calls? Said Sher Khan, and a splendid peacock fluttered up and out of the ravine, screeching. I, Mowgli, cattle thief, it is time to come to the council rock. Down, hurry them down. Akela down, Rama down. The herd paused for an instant at the edge of the slope, but Akela gave tongue in the full hunting yell, and they pitched over one after another, just as steamers shoot rapids, the sand and stones spurting up around them. Once started, there was no chance of stopping, and before they were fairly in the bed of the ravine, Rama winded Sher Khan and bellowed. Ha ha, said Mowgli on his back. Now you know. And the torrent of black horns, foaming muzzles, and staring eyes whirled down the ravine like boulders in flood time. The weaker buffaloes being shouldered out to the sides of the ravine, where they tore through the creepers. They knew what the business was before them. The terrible charge of the buffalo herd, against which no tiger can hope to stand. Sher Khan heard the thunder of their hoofs, picked himself up, and lumbered down the ravine, looking from side to side for some way of escape. But the walls of the ravine were straight, and he had to keep on, heavy with his dinner and his drink, willing to do anything rather than fight. The herd splashed through the pool he had just left, bellowing till the narrow cut rang. Mowgli heard an answering bellow from the foot of the ravine. Saw Shere Khan turn. The tiger knew if the worst came to the worst, it was better to meet the bulls than the cows with their calves. And then Rama tripped, stumbled, and went on again over something soft, and with the bulls at his heels, crashed full into the other herd, while the weaker buffaloes were lifted clean off their feet by the shock of the meeting. That charge, carried both the herds out into the plain, goring and stamping and snorting. Mowgli watched his time and slipped off Rama's neck, laying about him right and left with his stick. Quick, Akela, quick! Break them up, scatter them, or they will be fighting one another. Drive them away, Akela. Hey, Rama! Hey, hey, hey! My children, softly now, softly. It's all over. Akela and Grey Brother ran to and fro, nipping the buffalo's legs, and though the herd wheeled once to charge up the ravine again, Mowgli managed to turn Rama, and the others followed him to the valleys. Shere Khan needed no more trampling. He was dead, and the kites were coming for him already. Brothers, that was a dog's death, said Mowgli, feeling for the knife he always carried in a sheath around his neck. Now that he lived with men, now that, but he would never have shown fight. His side will look well on the council rock. We must get to her swiftly. A boy trained among men would never have dreamed of skinning a 10-foot tiger alone. But Mowgli knew better than anyone else how an animal's skin is fitted on and how it can be taken off. But it was hard work, and Mowgli slashed and tore and grunted for an hour while the wolves lolled out their tongues or came forward and tugged as he ordered them. Presently a hand fell on his shoulders, and looking up, he saw Baldev with the tower musket. The children had told the village about the buffalo stampede, and Baldev went out angrily, only too anxious to correct Mowgli for not taking better care of the herd. The wolves gripped out of sight. The wolves dropped out of sight as soon as they saw the man coming. What is this folly? Said Baldev angrily. To think that you can skin a tiger? Where did buffaloes kill him? It is a lame tiger too, and there's 100 rupees on his head. Well, well, well. So we will overlook your letting the herd run off, and perhaps I will give you one of the rupees of the reward when I have taken the skin to Khanivara. He fumbled in his waistcloth for flint and steel and stooped down to singe Shere Khan's whiskers. Most native hunters singe a tiger's whiskers to prevent his ghost haunting them. Said Mowgli, half to himself as he ripped back the skin of the forepaw. So you will take the hide to Khanivara for the reward, and perhaps give me 1 rupee. Now it is in my mind that I need this skin for my own use. Old man? Take away that fire. What talk is this to the chief hunter of the village? Your luck and the stupidity of the buffaloes have helped thee to this skill. The tiger is just fed, or he would have gone 20 miles by this time. You can't not even skin him properly, little beggar brat. And forsooth, I, Baldev, must be told not to singe his whiskers. Mowgli, I'll not give you 1 anna of the reward, but only a very big beating. Leave the carcass. By the bull that brought me, said Mowgli, who was trying to get at the shoulder. Must I stay babbling to an old ape all noon? Here, Akela, this man plagues me. Baldev, who was still stooping over Sher Khan's head, found himself sprawling on the grass with the grey wolf standing over him, while Mowgli went on skinning as though he was alone in all India. So one called from Mowgli, and the grey wolf was on Baldev. Yes, said he between his teeth. You are altogether right, Baldev. You will never give me 1 anna of the reward. There is an old war between this lame tiger and myself, a very old war, and I have won. To do Baldev justice, if he had been 10 years younger, he would have taken his chance with Akela, had he met the wolf in the woods. But a wolf who obeyed the orders of this boy, who had private wars with man-eating tigers, was not a common animal. It was sorcery, magic of the worst kind, thought Baldev, and he wondered whether the amulet round his neck would protect him at all. He lay as still, expecting every minute to see Mowgli turn him into a tiger too. Maharaj, great king, he said at last in a husky whisper. Yes, said Mowgli, without turning his head, chuckling a little. I'm an old man. I did not know that you are anything more than a herd boy. May I rise up and go away, or will your servant tear me to pieces? Go, and peace be with you. Only another time, do not meddle with my game. Let him go, Akela. Baldev hobbled away to the village as fast as he could, looking back over his shoulder in case Mowgli would change into something terrible. When he got to the village, he told a tale of magic and enchantment and sorcery that made the priest look very grave. Mowgli went on with his work, but it was nearly twilight before he and the wolves had drawn the great gay skin clear of the body. Now we must hide this and take the buffalo home. Help me to herd them, Akela. So Akela helps Mowgli with that. So we'll stop here. This is on page 114 at the top. Thank you. Very interesting story, and it is rolling in a very nice fashion about the Mowgli and his friend, the wolf, and the tiger, and the Baldev, the man from the village, two different civilizations, and how they interact. It's very nicely written, and I've enjoyed reading it. I hope you too have enjoyed it.
Climax, he kills Sher Khan.
Yes, Sher Khan is killed.
Sher Khan is killed, which in the Jungle Book, the whole Jungle Book story is about Sher Khan.
Wow.
And in this, Sher Khan is killed already.
Yeah. And they're skinning him.
And he's killing Sher Khan.
Yeah. I'm sure you must have enjoyed it. We'll continue next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.